your sleep doesn't have to be affected by scoliosis. But if you find yourself tossing and turning or waking up at night because of back pain, in this video I'm going to share with you my best tips that I have for getting a good night's sleep with scoliosis. So the first thing that we have to look at, of course, is our sleeping position. And with scoliosis, it's all about the distribution of pressure. So we want this distribution to be really even and equal. And I made a great video about this here, which you can watch in case you missed it, about the best sleeping positions for scoliosis. Now, obviously, the other thing is also the support that you've got. It's not just about which side you sleep on and what is the best sleeping position, but you also want to have a good mattress, of course. Now, this is very personal, and I would always recommend that you try different mattresses. I would always recommend to be on the firmer side with the mattress, because it's just, especially if you're a side sleeper, it's just going to give you much better support. Now, the second tip that I've got for you is to make sure that you've got a good routine of an end of day reset. So really, really important. We know gravity is not our friend with scoliosis. So our muscles have to work super hard to keep us upright with this asymmetry during the day. And depending on what you've been doing during the day, you need to make sure you kind of reset those impacts that gravity have on the body in the evening. So make sure you've got an evening routine, a practice that you might want to do. And I've got, of course, a great one here that you can do afterwards. So tip number 3 is how you mentally prepare yourself for sleep. And of course, there's a lot of research about this as well. We don't want any devices close to bedtime, screen time and all of that, reducing that. This is all kind of common sense. We all know these things, but what are the kind of small things that you can maybe put in place to have a good bedtime routine? And for me personally, everything changed when I gave myself a fixed bedtime. So it's 10 p.m. for me, which might be on the early side for you, but it works for me because I get up early as well in the morning. But since I've got this kind of fixed bedtime, I sleep so much better because my body already knows when it's time to kind of wind down and then when it's time to go to bed. Calming the nervous system, obviously, especially if you had a really busy day, and restorative yoga has been really a game changer for me, and I always incorporate some restorative yoga poses now before bedtime as well. So tip number 4, especially important with scoliosis, but really for anyone, is getting that sunlight exposure, vitamin D, during the day. So there have been some really interesting studies about this, that especially that first early morning sunlight is really, really important to just set yourself up for this rhythm, and for then in return get a good night's sleep in the evening. So making sure you get that exposure during the day, maybe make sure you get outside in the sunshine, and really the earlier the better. So if you can walk your dog in the morning, for example, do it first thing in the morning, get that exposure to daylight and get that sunlight exposure. Now, if you don't live in a particularly sunny place like me here in the UK, there are months of the year where we don't see a lot of sun. And during that time, I know I have to make an extra effort to get myself outside, but I would also take some vitamin D supplements during that time. Tip number 5 is about movement, of course. And obviously, as a yoga and Pilates teacher, I do have to talk about this, but it's not just yoga and Pilates. Any type of movement that you can do during the day is going to really benefit your sleep. So the sooner you can build this into your calendar and into your day-to-day routine to just get this half an hour of exercise every single day, the better, and it will make the biggest difference to your sleep. So this might be just going for a brisk walk, it could be swimming, and maybe you like running, maybe you've got a favorite activity, maybe you play tennis. It doesn't have to be a big thing. Again, just getting on your yoga mat for half an hour or so is going to be great and is going to make the biggest difference. Some movements are of course better than others for scoliosis, and it's really important that you understand what you can and what you can't do. Yoga and Pilates can be great, and I have a membership that focuses specifically on movements that are tailored to what you need as somebody with scoliosis. When you join us inside, you will find curve-specific videos, you will find relaxation practices, plus a community and support of people who are going through the same thing to help you manage the condition and not feel so alone. Of course, we also cover things like sleeping well at night, sitting well during the day. So if you are interested in learning more, make sure to click this button on your screen right now.